Hello and welcome back to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 155. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and I'm joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted Libby.
Welcome to the new year.
The new year,
listen to this.
The new logo, and James is in a new shirt. Is that new?
I just never get to wear it.
Oh.
It's got little Santas on it, you know.
Yeah, you're very festive. You're very festive. Santa. You're popping today, James.
Yeah.
It's because it's Game of the Year time. It's Game of the Year time. Mm-hmm. Yep. We all played some great games. It's Game of the Year time.
And some not great games.
And some not great games. But Ted, we are not here to talk about these not great games because this is the 55th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where once a week we Discord over 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. Each episode goes live on Friday morning now, and we'll have 2 breakout clips on Monday and Wednesday. And we're also uploaded onto Spotify and other Spotify podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts, Ted? Apple Podcasts?
Google.
Yeah?
Amazon, working on Apple.
Working on Apple?
Comment your boutique podcasting app so I can see about adding it.
Pocket Cast, one of those.
Yeah.
We'll be on there.
Crackle.
Stitcher, you know.
Stitcher.
I just made that up. I don't know if that's a real.
Please subscribe, like it, do all that. We're trying to do a thing this year.
Yeah. We're building a multinational brand
yes.
Here, so we're going to need your help,
your
looking support.
To get into shoe sales, and I think this is our way in.
Sponsored by viewers like you.
Yes, so go to our Patreon. All right, gentlemen.
Taxman are listening.
Cheers to everyone. We got through another year.
Cheers. We made it.
We made it. We're going to...
2023 is over.
It's in the books.
Now.
It's done.
Okay.
Let's talk about...
You guys have any good lessons? Any good takeaways from 2023?
I got to get out of the house more, Ted.
Yeah.
I played a lot of games.
It's a good one.
You know,
I learned this year, how do I phrase this? That Tom Petty's greatest works overshadow some of the hidden bangers. That was my lesson from.
Is that from the GTA trailer? Is that where you learned?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a great song.
It is a great song.
It's a great song from a great album. You know what gets played instead is the other songs from that album.
Like all the other songs from that album.
Yeah, except that one.
I know. I'm with you. That's not even a game coming out next year. That's a game coming out in 2 years. We know nothing about what's coming out next year.
Or something.
All right. We're doing our top 10 games of the year. Each of us bring a list of 10 games. We do a round robin, going from 10 to 1. If someone brings a game up that is on your list later, earlier, younger, lower, whatever the order is, you will say, hey, I got that game's coming up, and we'll move on from it. If I got, Dragon Age Origins at number 10 and James has it at number 2, we're going to talk about it at James's number 2.
Do you have that on your list?
Yeah. Did you guys haven't played Dragon Age Origins this year? It was really
didn't play
good.
That? No. Yeah.
Not this year.
It was great. They remade it. It was great.
Do they fix it?
No, it's just on Switch. So it's, it's not much better. It's Switch Cloud Play, Ted. It's confusing.
Yeah. It's on Stadia.
It's on Google Stadia. Before we start going through our round robin lists, does anyone have any honorable mentions? Any games that you didn't give enough time to, you would have maybe put them on your list if you could have, games that were just kind of cool? Ted, you put up your hand. I have 2. We'll briefly mention them. We don't have to go deep.
Okay, I have 2 honorable mentions. I'll be brief about them. First one, Forza Motorsport didn't make it on my list. Really cool game. Just didn't ever really get enough time to play it necessarily. The other game is a little bit of sad news, but I do want to give it a shout out. I bought and downloaded Jump Light Odyssey by League of Geeks, which is a really cool roguelike FTL style.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show.
So they have announced that game is done. They can't keep their doors open under their current business model, so that game will forever be in early access, and that team has been essentially laid off or retasked.
What's their business model?
They're like an employee-driven, employee-driven video game development business. They don't do crunch time. If you need more time to make...
Is the game not released?
No, it is in early access, and it has been tabled indefinitely.
What it means, James, is they were self-funded, they ran out of money.
Yes.
So they didn't make enough money, nobody liked the game.
It's unfortunate. It's a really fun game. It had a lot of potential, but unfortunately cannot continue.
Yeah. Bummer.
Yeah.
Those are your 2 honorable mentions. Mm-hmm. James, what are some of your honorable mentions?
All right. I got 2 as well. The first one is Aces and Adventures. Indie game, poker, RPG, roguelike. Really interesting. I think there's another game that's just like this, but this one was the one that's also by Yogscast Games, I think, or published by Yogscast.
Oh, yeah.
really fun game. I played the heck out of it. So I just want to give it a I'll mention because after I beat it, I didn't really go back to it. And then the next one, I took 2 off my list, and I don't even want to put it as honorable mention.
Wow,
it's that bad.
Dang.
So I'm not even gonna say it.
So you know what? It's dead. He only had 1.
It's dead. I'm just gonna say that's it.
That's it. I love it.
If someone else has it, I'll bring it up. Though.
Okay, so wow, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's on Ted's list. Yeah.
Yes.
My 2 honorable mentions are both kind of remakes, remasters, so they didn't go on the list. Metroid Prime Remastered. It was my first time ever playing Metroid Prime this year, and so
definitely
that
needs
was,
a nod.
Yeah, so
that was on my list for sure.
Yeah, is it on your actual like top 10?
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll get back to Metroid Prime Remastered because wonderful. The only reason it's not on my top 10 is because, in my opinion, it's an upgraded visual port of a game, so it's didn't come out this year. And then the other one is Super Mario RPG Remake. I just haven't had enough time with it. I actually believe this would be on my top 10 if I had more hours in my life to put into it. So,
Are
but
there
I
any
really like
Super Mario games in your top 10?
There is, James. There is a Super Mario game in my top 10. There is.
You sell out.
Cheers. Cheers. All right, James. We're gonna start with you because for some reason you're feeling a little. Yeah. I'm throwing you into this. We're gonna start with you. Your number 10 game of 2023. Let's hear it.
This is big.
This is big.
All right.
This is what we've been waiting for all
10.
year.
I scratched off my number 10, then I put this game in because the number 10 wasn't good enough. So my number 10 game is Sunhaven, which, for those who don't know what Sunhaven is, it is a farming RPG style game that you play with friends.
Okay.
So kind of like following off of games like Stardew. So very similar to Stardew, but it has this element to it where you can just kind of do what you want seamlessly. So the game, how it plays is Stardew, you're kind of doing everything together.
Mm-hmm.
You're looting together and you're finding stuff. But with Sunhaven, how it works is you're kind of like both in the same world, but you play events independently and do quests independently, which is kind of nice. So you can like kind of go at your own pace while someone else does something else and you do your own thing. Or if you're not interested in fishing, you don't have to fish, stuff like that. So it's more independent versus Stardew where you have to like do every little thing, go to the mines and go over here. So really fun game. They release a lot of cosmetic content, so nothing like pay for win, but it's cosmetics and no free DLC like Stardew does. But really fun game. Had a lot of hours with this. Didn't get to beat it. I probably 20-30 hours in. Didn't get to beat it, but fun farming, very Stardew-esque. RPG elements where you can fight, a lot more fun than Stardew. So I really like the team and
nice.
You deserve a top 10.
Sunhaven, I like it.
Sunhaven.
Wow. Ted, would you like to go next, or would you like me to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
My number 10 is like split down the middle between honorable mention and making it on the list.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it beat out the other 2 competitors here. I played Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. Thank you, James. This is a fantastic game.
Did I get you that game?
You did, yes.
I don't know what this game is.
It is a
I didn't get to play
single player first person shooter, completely in the vein of a 90s
boomer shooter.
Boomer
That's
shooter.
What they're called, the boomer shooters.
Like a Doom, 90s, Doom clone
90s,
kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
It like
Doom
a Doom clone
90s graphics, but it's all modern controls.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a fantastic little romp. In the spirit of a Doom-esque game, you just explode through enemies with 9 different guns that you're switching between. It does do that tactical, some guns work better on some enemies, so you do have to think about it, but you're shooting guns either way.
You'd like this game. It has a very much flow like New Doom.
Okay.
You have a chainsaw.
Yeah.
You have like certain things that are good against certain enemies.
Yeah.
The gun switch is really fun, and you're a space marine. It's
okay.
It's
pretty
lore. Really
exactly.
cool Warhammer lore.
Bolt
and
gun. Okay.
I don't know much about it, but apparently they get a lot of the Warhammer lore dead on correct. And at the end of the day, it's just a really fun boomer shooter.
That's so fun.
It's not too easy, but it's definitely like a lot of fun. Like I was having blast playing through like first couple hours, but then I picked it up.
Interesting.
Very good game.
Warhammer 40K Bolt Gun. My number 10 is the Dead Space remake. Is that on anybody else's list?
That was my number 10. I scratched it out.
Wow. Okay. So
that's gonna be much higher on my list. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about it later with Ted. Then I'm gonna start number 9 because I want to talk. My number 9 is Final Fantasy 16.
Damn.
Number 9. It's a good game. We talked about it back when like the review when I did it in the summer. But it's a game that is very pretty, has great combat, is trying to tell a very complex narrative with like themes that I don't think it goes far enough with. Trying to kind of deal with like slavery and disparage between classes, but I don't think it ever quite fully gets there because it's also a big game where you fight as kaiju monsters. So I think it kind of sometimes conflicts. But great game overall, fun, great performances, great action, and I like Final Fantasy, so I'm excited. But I think the real meaty Final Fantasy we all know is coming is 7 Rebirth, and that's not too far away. So that's my number 9 game, Final Fantasy 16. Theodore.
Cool.
We're going round
my number 9, just barely making it on the list, is going to be Diablo 4.
Wow, I'm surprised it's your number 9. I figured it's gonna be higher.
Yeah,
That's the one I took off my list.
There it is.
Diablo 4. It's for a once over playthrough. It's a lot of fun. It's cinematic. It's enjoyable. I think if you approach this game from the live service ongoing aspect, it's kind of crap. And time is only telling how not good or shaky it's turning into. But for someone like me who's just played it once, I had a really fun time with it. It works completely seamlessly for everyone involved on PC, Xbox, wherever you're playing, PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
It all just flows together and works. And it's a fun little romp.
Very cool. Yeah, it is not on my list because I played it for one night and that was it.
I thought we had a good time, and then I was playing through the main story, but it just did not click with me like Diablo 3 did.
Yeah.
4 is way more grindy. It feels like a mix of like 2 and 3, if like the elements are there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit slower.
I prefer my Diablo games slow, so that's kind of why
So if you like a slow
gravitated
game, that's what 4 is. But I played New World last year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was the slowest I've ever been in a game, and so I just can't go back to that.
James,
I never completed Diablo 4.
There it is. That's why it's not on your list. But what is on your list at number 9, James?
Number 9.
Number
At number 9, I have Ember Knights.
Hey!
Which, we played.
Hell yeah!
I think it's a fun 4-person. Like when I play this game, it reminds me of what Hades could be. It has the elements there. It's not quite there, but
like co-op
Hades.
Hades. He means like a co-op.
Co-op
co-op
Hades
could be. Don't get offended,
Yes.
Ted. It's okay.
Yeah, not what Hades.
James wonders what Hades would be like if it was a good
What
game.
if Hades was good? No. What if co-op Hades existed?
Okay.
This is a real close, bare bones type of co-op Hades. Not all the elements are there. There's little things here with items, but there's not as much synergy as you would like. But there's enough.
Yeah, there's less synergy and it's more like almost point based of like you're actually like kind of doing like finding certain skills to kind of lean into. So like when we played, like it was like, well, now Jake found some great critical hit stuff. So like that's where we got to lean into is like
you're very locked in. It's like you have to be power, you have to be magic, and you have to be crit.
Yeah,
and which kind of sucks because not everyone.
It sucks, but it's kind of fun with co-op, I think, because then it splits up the abilities in a way. It's not on my list, but it's a great game.
When I think co-op Hades, I feel like everyone can do everything because if it's like independent choices, you could all have like similar builds.
Yeah,
that's the only thing you can't do with this game because you just be starving everyone.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was I had a lot of fun. I beat it with some friends, and we got like the unlock, like the Hades modes where you can like make it harder.
Oh yeah. The skull mode.
That's good. Yeah. The skull mode.
Very cool.
Ember Knights. List. That's my number 9.
Number 9. Number 8, James, just go for it. Just throw it out there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, sweet.
Number 8. I had a toss up here.
Oh.
I have like arrows. I have like a little game plan. Like, like running back goes this way.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think number 8 is going to be Jedi Survivor.
Okay, we're going to talk about Jedi Survivor later. It is on my list. Is it on your list as well, Ted?
Or were you, Ted?
No. Never didn't get around to it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't play.
Yep.
Only you and I beat it.
Wow. So that was your number 8? Hot diggity dog. All right, Ted.
It's a tough list.
It's a tough list. It's a good year.
So here's where we get a little controversial. My number 8 is going to be Starfield.
Okay. Starfield did not even make my list.
And
wow.
Nor should it. I don't.
Starfield on your list, James?
Yeah, that's where my number 8 was, but then I swapped it to number 7.
Oh, should we? Okay,
we'll come back. We'll come back.
As many hours into Starfield.
We'll come back.
We're gonna come back.
We don't. If you're not, it's not on your list, and it's my number 7. We can talk about it now.
It's gonna be Ted's 6.
Oh,
it's your 7. 8. All right, let's talk about it. We're gonna talk about our 8 and 7s right now.
Yeah, if it's not on your list.
So I spent 48 hours playing Starfield. It's not till the very end that I chose not to believe in it anymore.
What a great way to put my experience with Starfield.
Yeah, like
that's exactly how I felt.
I had a lot of fun hoping that this game was going to get better. That's kind of the only way I can describe it.
It's so perfect.
Yeah, but like, I genuinely go back and mess around in that shipbuilder. The world that they have created, while it doesn't fit very well in a video game, I still think was a good base or start or attempt at a like human-based science fiction world. Again, spoiler alert for the game, but the overall concept that like you're supposed to like dimension hop could have been way cooler, but like conceptually, I thought it was still neat. Ultimately, as we've discussed a few times on this podcast, it didn't come together into a very good video game.
No.
But I think the ideas were there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Starfield is a whiteboard of great ideas that don't quite fit into a picture of a puzzle, kind of like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Starfield. I also feel like it just shows that Bethesda really needs to look at how their games play and are designed, and they really need to revisit that because they're behind now. Like they led the RPG genre and now they're behind. And it felt like playing an old game.
Totally. And outside of just Bethesda, I think this is a fantastic case study of how a really interesting idea on paper cannot come together in practice, where it's like, oh, well, you just made fast traveling space travel, and we don't like fast traveling, and you can't hide that with space travel. In fact, you just made it worse.
Yeah, you took away the interesting part of your game. Like you didn't let us walk around.
Years from now, there will be a 3-hour breakdown on YouTube describing exactly what this game did, and it's going to be fascinating.
I agree. I'm excited for that.
I actually have hope for this game to be salvaged by the modding community because what did kill the game, right, is sort of the fast travel, the loading screen simulator, having to watch your ship take off and land so many goddamn times.
I love the ship that I built, so that was not a problem for me.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I like my ship, but that was about the best part of my game.
it just slowed the game down. Like I felt like it would have been Fallout. I could just walk everywhere, and that was more enjoyable than having to fly my ship to space, to jump to here, to jump to there, to jump to here, to jump to there. Even though this is closer, you have to jump all the way around.
You make a good point, James, because Jake and I both played it. I guess I played it on the Series X. So I didn't have a lot of problems with load times. They were there, but they were fast. But you playing it on PC, I could see that being an absolute...
my load times were instant. It's just you had to watch the cutscene every single time I landing. That adds an extra 5-10 seconds. So there's no fucking point of having fast load times of instant.
Right.
Like if you have to watch a mandatory cutscene, like it's just like boom. I just want to be boom, boom, boom.
Well, we're gonna talk a lot about like exploration in games later as we kind of proceed down these lists. And I think Starfield lost their sense of exploration in trying to make it a space game. Like, I think they just kind of didn't know how to make that. And therefore, this is the product we got. So, and I think that's a problem. Yeah.
I don't know if I asked any of you, but did you guys ever explore just walk around and like...
I did, yeah.
It was very much nothing there, right?
Yeah,
and very much just animals and minerals.
It's a lot like a No Man's Sky planet in a way.
Very early No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but like No Man's Sky, that's the point of it. Where Starfield, that's not the point of it. Yeah. Like that's what it really felt like to me. It was like
it is. Yeah, to do that is to like waste time, basically.
Exactly.
So yeah. Okay.
All right, that was your number 7. Your number 8, right?
So yeah. Correct. So you're number 8.
So Ted, what was your number 8?
That was my number 8.
Oh, okay. I got confused.
What's your number 8?
We're now my number 8 now.
It's gonna be your 8.
Fuck Starfield, am I right, guys? All right, my number 8 is Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man 2 is an awesome video game. It really is. But here's the deal: we had Spider-Man Miles Morales. They're both awesome. Spider-Man 2 is equally as awesome, no more, no less. It's just a great time, and I love playing it. But it didn't like change the game. Didn't make me like want to really go back and complete everything. It was just a great Spider-Man story. And Venom is Venom, and we talked about it in my review. I think Venom's kind of boring. It's you have to tell the same story with Venom every time, and now we keep seeing it. But yeah, he's cool looking. That's how I feel about Venom. Yeah.
The Spider-Man games are great.
Yeah, they're super fun.
Yeah, but I beat Spider-Man 2018 this year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a great time.
Yeah, and now you can be both of them, and it's super cool. And like that's a very fun interaction we have not seen really in any medium, is like just two Spider-Men being Spider-Man, hanging out being Spider-Man. And that's kind of the vibe of the game, which I really like. And they each call each other Spider-Man, and I think that's really cute. But yeah, so that's Spider-Man 2, number 8.
Okay.
I'm going to go with my number 7, James, just to piss you off.
No, that's what you got to do.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Number 7.
And that's above Spider-Man.
It's above Spider-Man. Here's the deal. This game's a fucking delight, James. You
Yeah,
better believe
He played it after
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
shit.
so it's higher on the list.
Yeah, it's recency bias, really. I haven't even beaten this game. Really enjoying this game. It's all fun. It's just wonderful. You get these things called wonder flowers, James. You're walking around the map. You're hitting some Goombas, and then a wonder flower pops out. You grab the wonder flower, and then the whole map changes. And the first time it does this, James, the first fucking time it does this, all these pipes appear and all these piranha plants come out of it and they start singing. And you're just going through a piranha plant musical for like half a level. And that's what this game does.
Are you sure you just weren't high playing?
I think I might have been on shrooms, but it was awesome, man. It was awesome. The most recent wonder flower I got, I became a Goomba and I had to like survive being a Goomba against all of these different things. The way the game is interacting and changing is very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. 10. You had a question?
No, I only have respect for when Mario games let you be the Goomba.
Yes, it gets weird. The game gets weird.
Yeah.
And I really like Mario allowing itself to get weird. And it's Mario, and it's super fun to play. The music's great. It's a great time. It's a delight. It's doing something different, in my opinion, as we talk about Mario's
Let's dive into internet controversies. Is this the sequel to Super Mario World?
No.
Ooh.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Super Mario Universe is the sequel.
Exactly. It's actually Galaxy, James.
Excuse me.
No, but Galaxy is a sequel to 64.
Solar System.
Yeah, that's true. True. No, I don't think so. I think I get why people would kind of say that because there's a lot of secrets to it. But the Wonder Flowers are the secrets of the world, but they're so integrated to the game itself that it doesn't feel like Super Mario Bros. World had like, you would just go up into the sky of a level and then find out there's a whole other level in the sky of this level that you would never know. Where I have not had that experience, but hey, maybe it's there. Maybe it's there, Ted.
Okay.
Ted, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is controversial even for myself because I put down Hogwarts Legacy, which gets 2 eye rolls from my co-hosts here.
Wow.
Is that on your list at all?
No.
Yeah.
James, it's actually ranked at the bottom of my list for all games played in 2023.
Not on my list at all.
And nor should it. Again, this falls in kind of the same cat.
Am I the only one who beat the game too?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I never made it.
James, I flew so many rings with my broom that I just was done.
Yeah.
Or popped the balloons. That's what I did.
We have said it many times on this podcast. This is not again, like Starfield, it's not a very good video game for us as gamers.
But it sold very well.
It sold very well, but I was going to say I really
Can I stop you a
second?
second? Just speak on that. I just want a news bust thing.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy was actually the best-selling game this year over Call of Duty. It's the first time that's happened in like 8 or 9 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, back on 10.
You mobilize whole other demographics with Hogwarts.
Exactly.
But no, this game did Hogwarts, the universe, a lot better than I was expecting. I fully kind of thought this was going to be some kind of like Universal Studios, like just very like Hollywood trash.
Yeah.
It ended up not. They put a lot of thought into the castle and the grounds around it. And I did want to respect that. There was kind of a magic, no pun intended, to getting on your broomstick and flying around, the small villages around. And finally, I actually thought the combat system, the like spell comboing system, was a lot of fun. Like genuinely, like kind of like parrying, like, okay, I'm going to bounce him, then I'm going to throw him against the wall, then I'm going to set him on fire, then I'm going to fling him to me, then I'm going to, like all of the way it was, it's not like a fighting game, but it almost makes you feel like it's a fighting game in that like, oh, I'm going to do this. I had a lot of fun with that combat system. I wish there was a better game around it. Maybe we'll make it a sequel where you play an Auror and just like assassinate bad guy enemies of the magic state.
Fuck yes.
I love this game because at the very end I gave no fucks and I got all the dark arts. So I got every single kill spell, and then I went and fought and killed everyone. And then it was like justified. And at the end I got my report card and they're like, dude, you did okay. You could have done better.
You could have done better.
So, and then the game ended. So
you were an okay wizard, James.
Yeah, I was like, you killed only 3 guys.
You was basically a Death Eater, but we can't complain. You saved Hogwarts.
It's not a very good video game, but I thought that what they had opportunities where they could have just made kind of a trash Hogwarts experience, and it would have sold just as well. But instead, they put a lot of time and effort into some of their ideas, and I respect that.
You're not gonna have the best selling Harry Potter game and not have more to follow.
My favorite experience in that entire game is that you can sneak up behind goblins and stealth kill them, just like in Far Cry. But instead of you're just stunning them. I forgot the spell. Yeah, I forgot the spell.
Get the knife out of my wall.
It's Perpetuous Totalis or whatever it is. It's the
if we get like a Metal Gear Solid Hogwarts Legacy crossover, I think that would be a really good game.
Oh my god,
that would be great.
I want that.
I'm so I like you being an Auror. Yeah,
you're just in Afghanistan. You're just in Afghanistan. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about it.
Whoa.
Yeah, you drop out of a Black Hawk helicopter.
You play whatever music you want.
Yeah. And then you just go combo.
All right, we're done with Hogwarts Legacy. All right.
Okay.
James, what is your number 7 game?
Number 6, because my number 7 was
Starfield.
Yeah,
Starfield. Number 6.
Here
we go.
I already crossed it out. So
there it is. All right, number 6.
Number 6. Going Against the Storm.
Nice.
Oh. That's the game.
No. Yeah, that's the game.
That's the game.
I'm not going against the game.
I was like, is he about to say Baldur's Gate at number 6? That's a fucking call, man. Okay. But okay, Against the Storm.
No. Against the Storm. This game is wild. It is released this year. It was early access and then like straight release to version 1.0. It's this rogue-like sort of, I don't know, how would you describe this, Ted? Like, so, it's like an RTS, but also
this didn't make it on my list because I didn't feel comfortable. I never played it in 1.0. It's a rogue-like city builder or rogue-like settlement builder.
Like a rogue-like AoE, but what your goal is you build up your village, you get these woodcutters, they cut down the forest, and you discover these glades, which have events. Yeah. And the events can be like, hey, you need to give me some money, and if you give me some money, you can send it back to the capital. You're trying to please the queen, basically.
Yeah, your
goal is to get reputation.
Okay.
And if you get max reputation, you win. And then what you're doing is you're going against the storm. You're going against the storm. You have the city, which is in the middle, the citadel, and you just play these events against the storm until you get to the end, which is it'll like tally up like all like the city encampments you built, and then the storm consumes you.
Yeah.
So your goal is to basically go against the storm.
Okay. Yeah, it starts like any city builder where you have a town center and some villagers, and then the ultimate goal is to complete quests for the queen. You are expanding, and as you expand, you're coming across various different challenges. Okay. But all of these challenges are very city buildery. You know, it's like, oh, you need 3 of these resources to solve this puzzle.
But it's also very like RTS-y, like because like you have to mine, you have to like get food, get resources to like build things. You're not like deploying like like some ships already there like fighting people, but you're just like chopping down trees.
Yeah, okay, you're building up.
You're just collecting
it's like the economy side of an RTS game.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Yes.
Okay, it's like the marketplace in Age of Empires. I understand.
Yep.
But it's really, really good. Like, sorry, I had a little burp.
Little burp right there. I love it. Against the Storm. That's great.
No, I again, I kind of bounce off of it a little bit. It is a little tough to swallow if you're not used to it, but they took roguelikes in a whole new direction. And I think that is really awesome to see them do it and to see them pull it off.
Yeah.
You know, when I say roguelike, you don't necessarily think of like a strategy game. So the fact that they just had that thought and then pursued it all the way to 1.0, I think is awesome.
That is really cool.
I've never seen a type of game like this. Like usually with the RTSs, it's just like you just keep going and then you lose, you have to restart. But this has like, oh, because you did this and you did all these objectives, they carry over to your next run.
That's cool.
Here's what you can get for your next run. You'll have like these bonus resources or stuff like that.
That's super cool.
Yep.
Ted, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is Cocoon.
Ooh,
I wish I played this because I saw
not
it
on my list.
Like, top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good game. I didn't finish it.
Okay. Cocoon is a puzzle game. It doesn't go as deep as you might think it does. The very basic premise of the puzzle is that you are in a world with an orb, you are in a world with an orb that does a function in the world, whether that be build a bridge or lift an elevator, something like that. But then that orb you can go into, and that is a different world with different challenges.
And sometimes other orbs.
So the puzzle of it is taking orbs into orbs to solve various puzzles and then taking orbs out of orbs. You're like, oh, that's mind-bending. And it is.
Yeah.
The reason this goes so high on my list is because it's super fun, it's super engaging, and it doesn't ever like get you stuck. I hate puzzle games because I always hit a point where it's just too difficult, and I look around and go, did I miss something? Do I not understand it? I don't get it. This never does that. Everything that you need to solve the complicated orbs in orb puzzle is always available to you wherever you are. There's no backtracking. There's no need to like second guess yourself. It guides you through the puzzle experience in a really cool way. Kind of in the same vein of like how Portal, you never really felt completely stuck. There was always something you could try. And that thing that you could try was probably going to be the right answer. This does a fantastic job of leading you through the puzzle experience. My immediate thought after beating Cocoon was like, they're going to make a Cocoon 2, and it's going to break my brain even more.
Way too hard.
I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Ted, if you like Cocoon, you should play The Witness. That's all I'm saying. Because that is a puzzle game that is just the greatest thing of all time.
One day I'm going to get my notebook out and I'm going to play The Witness.
I'll send you my notebook and see if you can play The Witness with my notebook. Because I have it. When I first started dating Maddie, I was playing The Witness, and she watched me write into a notebook for a video game, and that's when I knew she was the one.
That's wild.
My number 6 is Jedi Survivor.
Okay.
That's
let's talk about it.
Let's fucking wrap, James. You and me. Yeah. Let's go. Here's the deal, James. This game's ending is just terrible. Like it's like it's awful.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
But it had its moments.
But man, does this game have its moments? And it's super fun to play.
Yeah, way better than the first game.
Way better in gameplay wise than the first game. Absolutely. Yes. Story wise, no.
Story wise,
how dare you? That first game was great.
Well, yeah, but just they improved, Ted. They improved.
The first game was Game of the Year.
Yep, it was Sidescape's Game of the Year.
There was really nothing that came out that year, but it was still like, I think it just came out left field, and then they've definitely carried it over with this one and added some cool stuff. Yeah. But like Jake said, like the story was just...
I think it leaves a really bad taste in your mouth. Like the end of the game is just like, in my opinion, pretty poor. Like it's the weird way they wrap up the whole story is just kind of odd. Where it's leading to something more interesting, and then it just kind of cuts it away, and now it's an Empire story.
The beginning was like, holy shit, this is gonna be incredible.
Like, we're going weird places.
Yeah. We're gonna like get after some people, and none of that.
They don't do that. But there are moments of this game, man. Like when you're in that one mission where you're up in the sky of the planet and you're like hopping, and like there's a dog fight like happening around you. Like, cool. So cool. Yeah. So cool.
No, it definitely has its elements. Yeah.
But I would agree it leaves a bad taste. Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm a Star Wars nerd, so fucking give me a lightsaber, and
it has to be up there.
I'm in. James, I'm in. That's it. Number 5. I want to hear James's number 5.
My number 5. Ooh, well. Ooh. I don't know if you want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
Starts with a Z.
Is your number 5 game?
That's higher up on my list, so we can pause.
Thank God. Legend of Zelda's number 5 in your list? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Move on.
It is.
Ted,
it is.
Ted, what's your number 5?
I mean, if you could guess the top 4.
I think I got it. I'm excited to see the order.
My number 5 is Metroid Prime Remastered.
Wonderful.
I have to admit, I took the opposite tact of you guys. I figured because I never actually got to the Cyberpunk DLC, it does not count to be on my Game of the Year. Because I just played last year's game.
That's so funny. I love it.
The DLC is the best part.
Well,
you gotta play 40 hours to get there, so I do understand that sentiment.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about Cyberpunk though, James. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about it.
Metroid Prime Remastered, my number 5. I think this is a perfect example of remaking a game. Well, I have another game on my list, but this is a perfect example of remaking a game to play how I think I remember it.
Yes.
They, like the graphics are improved, the controls are completely remade. There are little tidbits here and there that just kind of make the game flow better. I didn't notice any of that. I just went straight back into my 11-year-old brain and was just like, oh, it's just like how it used to be.
So Ted, if I recall, you have to like hold a button to aim, correct, in the old version? It wasn't a twin stick, right?
You walk and aim with the same stick.
Just like in okay.
Jesus.
You have to hold
yes,
like a trigger and then it moves the aim.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like GoldenEye.
On screen.
Yeah.
Yes. You can go back to that original control scheme in game, which I appreciate that they left that in there because it's ass. So go
now it's a twin stick.
Yeah, modernizing the controls, modernizing the graphics. You know, we're talking about a GameCube era game, so it's not going to blow your mind necessarily, but Metroid Prime is uniquely cool.
And the music.
Ted, like if we didn't have the tact, this game would be number 4 on my list.
Yeah.
I didn't know how incredible Metroid Prime was. I know that sounds maybe stupid. But yeah, man, like playing this for the first time ever in my life, it was like, this game is so good.
Yeah.
And it teaches you things in such a cool way and builds upon itself in a cool way. And yeah, sorry. It's your game.
No, you nailed it. Yeah. Metroid Prime back then and now does a really good job of teaching you how to play it as you play it.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, they call it Metroidvania for a reason, right? But
it's,
on top
it's
of that,
the Vania of Metroidvania.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
No, this game just has a really interesting aesthetic. It feels, you know, if you weren't a part of the PS2, GameCube, Xbox generation, you might not understand this, but it like feels, it captures that vibe in a very interesting way.
Yeah.
The music is out of this world. I absolutely love the soundtrack. I don't know who composed it, but they're bonkers. And yeah, it's a great game. It's a great revisiting of a game that already exists.
Yeah. I think all the Metroid, like when I think about Metroid music, Super Smash Bros. Just like comes in my head immediately, and there's just so many iconic soundtracks. But the eeriness, I played the original Metroid Prime. I didn't get to play the remaster. I wish I did, but I will. The price point too, $40. I think that's
Shadow Drop too. Day of the Direct
Shadow Drop
came out.
Yeah, I bought it on cart, so I can send it to you, James. We can all exchange. We can all exchange our Switch cards.
You couldn't get that. Like it was like really hard to get.
Yeah.
So you got a rare game. But also, did they confirm that they're gonna make the second one remastered, or do all of them?
They've kind of confirmed.
Okay. I was gonna say I believe they vaguely said that they will be doing stuff like this in the future.
The rumor is that these have been done for a very long time, and that they're basically waiting to release them in build up to the next Metroid Prime game that took forever to come out, and it's going to come out with the next system. Yeah. So that's the rumor right now. So we'll probably get Metroid Prime 2 this year.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing, which I'm cool. I've heard that's like incredible too. Is Metroid Prime 2 is supposed to be like equally as good.
So, I never played Echo, so I'm very excited for that.
I only played one, and I loved one.
Or is 2 Echoes?
2 is Echoes.
Okay.
3 is Corruption.
And what is Other M? Is that a 4? Who gives a shit?
We don't talk about Other M.
Number 5, James. Your number 5 is Zelda. My number 5 is Cyberpunk 2.0 / Phantom Liberty.
I assume my number 4.
Yeah. So for the purpose of this discussion, we can only talk about Phantom Liberty, right?
No, because Cyberpunk 2.0 is a whole new thing. They've revamped how the game works. Fuck off.
Yeah.
They didn't like release it. You know what I mean?
They did. They were like, "Yo, we finally made the game. We promised."
We were like, this game from 2022 was patched, so I'm going to talk about it this year.
Listen, we both started from the beginning, right? You started from the beginning. You didn't start from like.
I started from the beginning. Yeah.
Yep. We both started from the beginning.
Yeah. New game.
Street Thug.
Yeah, I think I did that. Yeah, I did the same one I did last time, which I felt stupid for doing.
I did Nomad last time, and Nomad sucked. So I did Street Thug this time, and Street Thug was awesome.
Yeah, Street Thug is what I did. Yeah, I'm Cyberpunk. We've talked so much about it because like Cyberpunk for you, James, is so personal because it was like the next game from your favorite game of all time, and then it was a letdown.
Yeah, and it mentioned this game in that game.
In that game, it does, and you can actually kind of find reference of Siri being in Cyberpunk Cyberpunk, which is so cool. That's so cool.
Awesome.
So cool. This game is great. This game feels like what they kind of promised initially, and it took them 3 more years to make it happen. The leveling system, the world is amazing. And I think also this game, for me, benefited so much coming after Starfield of being like wanting this big open world RPG and then like not finding it in Starfield like what I wanted. Cyberpunk was right there to be like, here's what you wanted. And man, does it carry. And then Phantom Liberty on top of that is just like an amazing maybe is a little high praise. A great story. Idris Elba is so cool to be around, just like Keanu Reeves. Like it's kind of fun to have this big celebrity in like the same space as you. And so
That's great too.
Yeah, and he does great. He's great in the role. And I think that story is pretty interesting. It's a very fun kind of spy Mission Impossible-y kind of like good versus bad, right versus wrong.
The story is good. Like it's like what's right, what's wrong.
Yeah.
like what side are you on? Do you let your personal like feelings get in the way?
Well,
Like it's great.
I think it's really cool too that it integrates like Johnny Silverhand's character, because this all happens before the end of actual Cyberpunk, the
Yes.
game. So like you're learning so much more about Johnny that actually like adds up to what you see in the end. Like you learn so much more about his military past and like
Oh yeah.
like I think it's really cool they built something into the game that builds more onto the end of the game too, which
and
is
you
really
get his
cool.
gun.
You get his gun. Yep. You just get a lot
Pretty
of
good.
cool shit. You get to like change your
Yeah.
face, James, at one point. It's fucking cool.
Oh my god. Yeah.
What a game.
I mean, and then the build, like the build tree. So don't want to mention Starfield too much, but going back to Starfield's build tree,
Yeah.
like when you wanted to do melee, like there were few weapons and there was few options, and this game like takes it to like the next level. When
Dog, I
got
I
Mantis
slow down
Blade.
time and I fucking have a katana. Like,
Yeah.
cool. You got
Oh,
mantis
did
blades.
you watch the show, right?
Yeah.
Did you finish the show?
Yeah.
You did.
Sad
Yeah.
as
So
shit.
yeah, and you saw like they integrated the Sandevistan
Yeah.
from that show into the game, which is awesome.
And that's
like,
what I
when they do
use
that.
is like the thing from the
Yes.
show. Ted doesn't give a
Yes,
fuck
which
about
is-
this conversation. I
Yeah,
love it.
he did like the show, but I
Didn't
think
really like the
what
game either.
the recovery is
personal
CD
choice.
Projekt Red. It gets the No Man's Sky award.
I do.
So
I agree.
That
I
was
agree.
my number 4.
Community support. It won it at the Game Awards too. I agree. This is your number
Yeah.
4. My number 5.
Yep.
Very cool. Ted, what is your number 5?
I'm on number 4. My number 5 was Metro Prime.
Oh, okay. Guys, it's getting
So
confusing. Number 4.
Yeah,
Well,
I know.
no, so Jake's number 4. Right?
Oh, then we'll go to my number 4. My number 4 is going to be
Yeah.
talked about later in the show. It's Baldur's
Okay.
Gate 3.
Should have been RE4.
I know. Okay, can I tell you something? It almost was, just for the numbering
Okay,
aspect
I
of
know.
what's about to happen. It almost was, but no, it's number 4. It's Baldur's
How
Gate
could you not do that? Because you RE4 for 4, Baldur's Gate 3 for 3.
3. You know what's
Come
gonna happen?
on, Jake.
I know, but I couldn't. I
You
couldn't.
sh-
I couldn't.
Okay.
I
Alright,
couldn't.
well,
I almost did it. All
We'll
right.
go back.
Baldur's Gate 3. So, Ted, you're number 4.
My number 4 was Dead Space. Technically another remake.
That was my
from
number
this
10.
year.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I really enjoy the original Dead Space. I think they did a very quality remake here.
Yeah.
It's higher up on my list solely because of my love of that first game. I don't think it necessarily does anything like super impressive or game changing. But I just really like.
stuff.
Yeah, well, I just really like the Dead Space, what it was trying to do. It being kind of like a
Scary.
a spiritual like accompaniment to Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
which we will also be talking about later.
Yep.
And having played both Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space this year, put Dead Space higher on my list of like they did a good job. They played a game they liked and then replicated another really interesting game.
This is higher than Resident Evil 4?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
But
okay.
Not-
having played both this year, I'm like this made it higher on my list because I played Resident Evil 4 and was like they did a cool thing here. I really like it.
Yeah, it was my first. So like, I think I played Dead Space, the first one, like when it first came out to a
Yeah.
point, and then like, I don't like scary shit. I'm getting better. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me. And so I got to a point in Dead Space as a kid, being like, this is too fucking scary for me. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And playing it again, like I really appreciated what it was doing. Like you said, like I now have this love for this genre that I didn't know I loved, survival horror. Like I love these like conserving resources, going through like a dark hallway and like what's going to happen in this dark hallway. For me now, like that's like pinnacle of gaming almost. Like this is so cool, the possibilities. And like Dead Space has that in droves, and it's also a space game, which was like right up my alley. And like I think we talked about the review, like they updated this game to make the story make more sense in a way too.
Yes, they did.
And like I really appreciated that from like a storytelling sense. Like it really started to add up like Isaac and like what's about to happen in what I assume Dead Space 2 remake is going to be. They're going to really change the story to make it flow better, because I know it doesn't flow. So I'm excited to see what they do. So yeah.
And any more praise to this game is just praising Dead Space from 15 years ago. But like just the idea that, you know, you're using ramshackle tools, you have to shoot enemies in these specific places on limbs as opposed to the head. Just really makes the gameplay interesting and fun. I'm learning. I am a complete sucker for any like integrated HUD system where instead of like my life bar being on the corner, it's like the back of his suit. Just fantastic choices. None of these are necessarily relevant to 2023, but
No.
Dead Space is a great game.
I agree. And James, you said it was kind of on your list, but it floated to
It floated to not being on my
not
list.
be on your
sadly.
list. Yeah.
But definitely had a good time playing it and enjoyed it. Very scary and gets the heart rate going.
Does get the heart rate going. What's your number 4?
Number 4 is Cyberpunk.
Nice.
Not RE4. So I also failed that.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. Okay.
Oh, it's probably their fourth major patch.
Yeah, but my number 3.
I'm just gonna keep bringing this up.
No shit, you salty bastard. All right, James.
My number 3 is 4.
RE4. That's my number 3 as well, James.
That's my number 2.
Shit, but James, I love where you're about to go with this.
Let's just talk about it.
Let's talk about
Resident
it. So, what is this, James? Sorry, Ted. What is this for you?
This is my number 2.
Okay. Wow. Okay. It's number 3. Wait, what's your number 2, really quick?
Oh, my number 2.
No. What's Ted's number 2?
My number 2 is
That's
Resident Evil
RE4.
4.
Oh. Your number 3.
What's your number 3?
Tears of the Kingdom.
All right, we're gonna talk about Tears of the Kingdom later. All right.
Yeah. But these last 3, we're just gonna have to do it. There's 3 games cycling around here.
There's 3 games. All right, so here we go. Resident Evil 4 remake.
Resident Evil 4.
James, take it away.
Resident Evil 4 is one of the greatest remakes ever made. I'm saying it right here. And it's not just for the base game, which is incredible. It's for that fucking $10 DLC, which just blew my mind that you can just make this DLC and have it go through the existing campaign and flow so seamlessly. And it's like, of course, when they made Resident Evil 2, they should have never made Resident Evil 3. They should have just bundled it as DLC, because that's what they did for this game. Since they made Resident Evil 3, it just like ruined everything. But 2 was so good with the way they did different characters that it works just like this in 4 when you play as Ada.
Yep.
So, 4, incredible. I feel like we've talked about it so much.
Yeah, but I think it's justified to talk. Like, we're going to talk about a very similar game soon. By Remedy. And what I think is like so special, I've never played Resident Evil 4, the original, ever.
Neither did I.
And James, I think
we both went in blind.
What I think is really fun with James and I, like, this podcast has chronicled our journey with Resident Evil. Like, literally, we did not play anything until Remake 2, and now here we are, like, now big fans. And
we
like,
played 3, disappointed, but it was 3.
But it was 3, and we've always that's supposed to be disappointing.
It was that bad.
Yeah. But like RE4 is kind of touted as one of the great games of all time. And
in the Resident Evil franchise.
But also, like, just in general, before that, like, RE4 is high up there on a lot of lists and whatever you want to look at. And playing it, I realized why. Like, man, if I played Resident Evil 4 as like a 14-year-old with a GameCube, like, it would be one of my favorite games of all time by far. It's Leon Kennedy is cool, man. He's ridiculous, but he's fucking cool, and he does backflips. Yeah,
Leon is amazing.
He blocks chainsaws with a knife. Yeah, better than Chris Redfield or whatever. Like, Leon's cool in this game, and like, the world is really weird and cool, and like, you think it's just in this little weird village, and then like, you go to a fucking castle, and like, it's wild. And
big
like,
giant lab island thing.
Yeah, man. And like, the village,
which is like a 2. You're at the police station, then you go down into like the giant, like,
the lab
underneath the city. Yeah,
which is so cool. And I love that aspect, but I also love like the store and like the what you buy, and it's like such an iconic thing. The store is so good. It's just so good, and like the upgrades, and it's one of my favorite games ever made. Now, like, it would be high on my list if it was like a brand new game. It would probably be up there. So
I think about Resident Evil a lot because the inventory system is so unique, the store system is so unique, the save system is so unique, and there's a lot of games that have copied it or been influenced by the way they do it, the way you pick up your ammo, the way like stuff you find around the breaking. I don't know, breaking pots has definitely been around for a long time.
But I know what you're saying.
Just the interaction with the map and you always being on the lookout for certain like trinkets, bells, like the things around the map with Resident Evil. It's awesome. Like, I just, and then the way the combat, like, holy shit, the combat's so good. So good. The encounters. Ted, what do you got for this? This was also high on your list.
This is my number 2.
Yeah.
So I do want to state for the record that this game did not work for me for the first like 3 months of me owning it. There was a controller bug.
Yes. Oh yeah, physically worked for you, not mentally, but physically. Yeah.
No, like that.
I didn't comprehend this game.
No, I really like this game, and I actually would love to go back and play the original with its stand and
that's crazy, right?
Mechanics, because the remake does change. Like, this does not feel like it did back then, right? No. It is a different game for its betterment. Yes. But no, I love this game. To your points of like, Leon Kennedy's just a cool dude. This game takes that idea of like the first act, the first third, is a survival horror game.
Yep.
The second act is more of like, all right, I'm scared, but I'm kind of figuring this out. And then the third act, by the time you get there to that island or whatever, you're like, all right, let's fucking go.
I'm gonna fucking kill everybody.
Like cool. There is a building momentum of this game from like, holy shit, there's a zombie chasing me and I'm terrified, to like, I have 2 guns. Let's fucking do this. Like it builds from a horror movie to an action movie
perfectly,
flawlessly.
Yeah.
And the fact that a lot of Japanese games take credit for this, where it's a little off because they're trying to replicate a lot of Western ideas, but that actually makes it land a lot better.
Yes.
Again, to the point of like Leon Kennedy's was a complete dick. Like he's not a human being by any means, but he's a complete caricature of like a Western action hero.
His name is Leon S. Kennedy because of JFK, for John F. Kennedy. That's literally why he's Leon S. Kennedy. It's amazing. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And kind of cherry on top, this game also has a fantastic replayability system. It is fun and engaging to go back and play, which with any game back then or now is a great idea. Like nothing like the greatest compliment I can give a video game is finishing it, seeing the credits and go, well, I want to do that again.
And I did that this year with Resident Evil 4. Like I beat it and I was like, well, I want to play this again. And I didn't do any other game. That's crazy.
I definitely highly recommend both of you try out the Separate Ways DLC.
Yes.
It makes you beat it in 6 hours, but you just flow through this game like no other. And it's like, it is like Resident Evil 2 when you play the separate characters.
The separate characters, Claire and Leon. Yeah.
Claire. And because it's like you could choose who you start with in that game like differently, but this one, you can only play Leon first, and then you.
I need to play that. I need to play Zeta.
It is.
I do too.
Incredible.
I like this game enough. I would
the
love
way
to
it flows.
play DLC. Yeah,
you'll love it. You'll see different perspectives, and you're like, oh, that's why she was here, or that's why this happened here, and it actually adds some extra stuff that leads into the 5th game.
Because they're gonna change the 5th game because they better
completely change that.
Yeah, they've already skewed the timeline, which is really interesting.
I do not want the 5th game to be how it was.
It won't
be.
Yeah.
And that's great because then they can save the 6th game.
Yep.
So.
No, they've now changed Resident Evil. Like they've figured it out. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to talk about 3 games.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. 3 games.
Let's knock out Alan Wake 2.
Alan Wake 2.
I never got around to this one.
So this is my second game. This is also your second game, James?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also I haven't beaten it yet, but I've gotten farther.
Man. Ted texted me something earlier this year where I was mentioning Alan Wake 2 and how, man, I'm into this game. And Ted said, are you a Remedy head now? And
yes.
I said, I think I am.
Yep.
I actually am floored by what this game is doing on a storytelling sense with video games. Like,
yes,
that's why I play games. Give me a story most of the time, except for my game of the year, but whatever. But like I play games for a story, and this game is like using video. It's using actors that look like the characters. It's like using a fucking musical. Did you get to We Sing?
Yeah,
James?
I did.
Thank
get to the
God,
musical,
it's the greatest part in a video game.
One of the greatest part. Yeah.
Oh my God, and it's also building on this shared universe with Control. I didn't play Alan Wake 1. I watched a 10-minute YouTube video on what happened, and I felt so comfortable in this story. And it's a survival horror game that's pretty good. It's got great combat. It's got great moments, but man, the characters and what drive this game and the story it's telling and how it's telling it is just unrivaled, man.
Like I talked about when we first talked about it. It's a book, video game, movie, show. Like it just combines all these elements. It's what media can be. And when I saw Hideo on the stage in the Game Awards, he even talked about it. It's like this is kind of gonna be like not your non-traditional game, but it's gonna be like a movie. That's what this felt like. The story so well written. The creative puzzles, you putting the pieces together for each of these scenes, and it doesn't treat you like you're holding your hand or like you're a little kid.
Yeah, it has this wonderful.
This is a game for adults.
This wonderful mechanic where both players, so you play as like 2 different characters, Saga and Alan Wake, and you can basically go into like their mind palaces, basically like the Sherlock Holmes mind palace.
The mind palace.
Her mind place is what it's called, and then he has like a writer's room. But you like that's how you change a lot of things, like figure out the story. And like Saga's an FBI agent, it's like you're putting together clues on a board. And like,
then changing the story, like with Alan Wake, you can change the story. It's like, does the story flow this way? Oh no, let's change it to this, and it gets dark, and it's like.
Have you gotten to the hotel segment with Alan Wake, where you're like in the hotel doing like a play? There was like a play in this hotel.
No, I don't think I've done that.
It's so cool. It's like his second main like puzzle area where you're adding like the different themes, and it's like really, really cool. I'm just floored by this game, man. The Remedy's doing stuff that nobody else is doing in the gaming space. It's kind of how I feel about Ninja Theory with Hellblade. Like, it's like they're doing stuff.
Did they win the most awards at the Game Award?
I think they won the second most. I think Baldur's Gate did win the most.
Oh, Baldur's Gate won the most. Okay.
Yeah, I think Baldur's Gate won like 4 or 5. Yeah.
They definitely took some awards, though.
Yeah, but no, they did, and they deserved it, man. Like, when they won Best Direction at the Game Awards, it's like, oh, so obviously, like, we're gonna talk about Baldur's Gate and all the things that it's doing, but like the vision of Alan Wake 2 and how it's integrating like live action video, music, like the level, every time you finish a chapter, the song that plays is like very precise on what it's saying about the game. Like all of that, man, the direction is so clear and it's so beautiful. And Sam Lake, he's fucking becoming an auteur of video games, and it's really cool to see. Yeah.
Alan Wake is that video game that you have to hear about at the college party from the guy who just won't stop talking about it, but he has weed, so you have to listen to it.
He's like, yo, you ever play fucking Alan Wake?
Alan Wake 2, man.
You kill shit with a flashlight, dog.
They're doing things nobody else is doing, man. Here, pass it this way, pass it this way.
You want to smoke my weed? I gotta talk about Sam Lake, dog. This guy's from Finland. Ted, you'll love this though. There are parts in this game where they will have live video of these commercials and like the local town that they're in. And there are these two Finnish brothers that run a theme park called Coffee World, and they constantly have different advertisements for different products that come from Coffee World, and you'll just like walk into a room and after, like, you just kind of want to watch this advert for like whatever they're fucking talking about now.
Remedy is so good at that. I mean, in the original Alan Wake, there is like a in-game TV show playing on the in-game TVs that you can like just watch.
Yeah,
and there's like 3 episodes of it. It's Remedy's doing good stuff.
They are, man. They're just incredible. So that was my number 2. That was James, your number 2 as well.
Number 2. Yep.
Okay.
So you already know what number 1
2
is.
games left to talk about.
All right. So I'm going to talk about my number 1 because then we're going to talk about everybody else's number 1. Okay. All right. So my number 4 was Baldur's Gate. We're going to talk about that in a second. Number 1 for me was Legend of Zelda, The Tears of the Kingdom. This is your number 5, James?
Number 1.
This is also IGN's number 1. You know what? I felt validated, James, when I saw IGN. I was like, you know what? Thank God. Yeah, I've talked about this game a lot, man. I think it's one of my favorite games I've ever played. It's like ranks up there with Ocarina of Time and The Last of Us. It's like, I think it's just pure exploration. It's pure delight. It's pure hold on. I listened to our 2022 podcast today of Game of the Year, and what we talked about with Elden Ring. We said it's an always gratifying experience. Every corner is gratifying. And I really believe that in my 160 hours of Tears of the Kingdom, every moment for me has been gratifying. I have enjoyed every piece of exploration, combat. What it's doing is just, it's unparalleled, man. It's taking what I believe is the greatest game created and just made it better. And they were like, we're going to try this again and it's going to be better. And I actually believe Elden Ring is about to do this. I believe that Elden Ring is about to give us a DLC that takes place in the same exact fucking world 100 some years in the future or in the past. And it's going to be like, that's what Elden Ring's DLC is going to be. And it's going to do the Tears of the Kingdom for Elden Ring. And we're all going to fucking love it. And it's going to be great. But I believe
it'll be Game of the Year 2024 because we're cool with just DLC and a patch.
Yep.
Coming back in.
Like Cyberpunk 2.0, baby. But no, man, like that's what Tears of the Kingdom is essentially. It's they took Breath of the Wild and they said, hey, that was a rough draft. Here's the finished product. And man, it feels like it. They took away what limited you was getting up to heights and getting up to see what's out there. They took away that and they said, we're going to give you the tools to go anywhere you want. The tools to get you to the top of everything within a second. The world is yours to go explore. And I think that's so cool. No game, in my opinion, has really given you the keys to the world like Tears of the Kingdom did. And for me, that's what's so special. It's like they gave me my own adventure. And however I wanted to go on an adventure.
The last iteration of that.
Yeah. I don't think they'll ever go back. I think it's going to be Zelda's going to go different.
I hope so.
They perfected it, in my opinion. I don't want it either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I heard they're going to go the Elden Ring route.
Are they? Fucking just hardcore fucking boss battles. Let's break some kids' wills, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my game of the year. I understand why we're gonna give something else. We're gonna give it Baldur's Gate game of the year, and I'm fully aware of that. I've been aware of this for months now.
And why is that, Jake?
Because Baldur's Gate is a game that is okay with you not seeing everything, and that's so cool. James, that's so cool. Because no game is like this.
What else?
Because
there's another big reason.
Kill the fucking whole first town, and the game's like, yeah, man, let's fucking roll with this playthrough. Your team is stupid and you've killed everything you've come across, and we're still going to play this game with you.
It's a co-op adventure.
Yeah.
I think that's the downfall of Zelda, which not the downfall. Like I think the aspect that people like with a lot of gamers is they want a co-op experience, like something to share with friends. Elden Ring was that experience as well, as there was co-op mods, and you could also like fight 1v1 and had that open. It was really nice. You could share that with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You're locked behind the Switch. Not really. Like, of course, you can emulate it on PC. But you could you can't really like share that experience with someone in the same time as you can with Baldur's Gate 3. But also, like, you can enjoy a solo experience, which I think most people play this game solo.
And I think that's the impressive part about Baldur's Gate is like it's a game that allows you to play with it as you want to play with it. And that's very much what we've been pitched on Dungeons and Dragons, as us nerds have always heard. How cool Dungeons and Dragons is, because it goes to your own will. This game really does feel like that, and I think that's really impressive. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. This game breaks an interesting boundary. For the past, God, I'm thinking it like whenever Mass Effect 3 came out. For a long time now, gamers have been promised this idea of... Okay. So for the past 11, 12 years, when you watch this, 12 years, we have been promised this idea of like the whole point of video games is you can make decisions that actually matter. And as we kind of learned, that's something of a farce. Because it's really difficult to code and to develop branching paths. And specifically with Mass Effect, it's really difficult for you to go down path A and not experience path B.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, there's no value in path B if nobody picks it.
But also in your sense too, like the path is so clear in Mass Effect. There's literally moments where the trigger goes be a good guy or be a bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, like where in Baldur's Gate, I'm sure this is where you're going, the path isn't clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate lets you branch your narrative, your story in a whole bunch of different directions. They are not clear as to whether or not you are being good or being bad. It's all a little bit fuzzy, but the point is that it's your adventure. So you can do things however you see them, and the game accommodates that, which is, in my opinion, a huge leap forward in emergent storytelling and what video games are trying to do.
Yes.
And for that reason, it hits my number one of just the fact that the three of us can come. I mean, we did have this conversation where you two were like, you guys let the first village survive, like, and I was like, yeah, I did. And I had a whole encounter with the goblins that you might not have had because just we chose to play the game differently. The fact that somebody was able to do that and execute it, and to James's point, and make it co-op, make it a shared experience, fantastic.
Yeah.
This game's been out a while, I'd say in the year, for 2023.
Yeah.
And I still have friends, 5-6 friends playing it every single day. Which I think is definitely like a testament to that game to have so much content, so much voiced content.
Well, it's all voiced, which I think is like that's what takes this game from being like what it could have been was like a small indie kind of like darling to AAA is that this whole game is voiced. Like that's huge. Yeah. Like sorry, James.
Well, and that's what takes it above like Starfield.
Yeah.
For example, like this game kind of like came out around that time frame where like Starfield comes out and it's like, yeah, but this game just completely did something different. It's way better than what you've been doing the same 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think like Baldur's Gate kind of is it's an incredible RPG on multiple senses. I think like one of the things is we talk about like Gunnar and I were playing it together, basically like side by side, but not in the same party. And he was on one screen and I was on the other. And we did started in the same point and did entirely different hour-and-a-half quests and different things from that same point. We're like, that's really never happened in an RPG because the world wasn't sculpting around what was happening. The world just had different moments that happened to it. We're like, James and I in our group playthrough, which just has a chaos build at this point, is like, we just slaughtered the whole first village. And like, there are no quests from the tieflings or the druids at all now for the rest of our game. And what is that going to do going forward? And we've already seen like minimal things of what's happening, but that's going to have huge repercussions later when we get to certain points. And I'm just like so curious about that. And like, to me, like that's such incredible game design. Like I totally understand why this game is game of the year and why this game is the best game of the year. It's not mine because for me, like gaming is Zelda. I grew up, my first game was a Zelda game that made me feel like I was going on an adventure. And that's what Tears of the Kingdom brought back. So like for me, that's where it's gonna be. But like I totally get why we're here.
And it didn't win the Game Awards Game of the Year, but I'm sure it's winning other Game Awards Game of the Years. That's why there needs to be more Game Awards than just the Game Awards.
IGN gave
there are.
Zelda.
DICE, IGN.
There are tons of Game of the Year awards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of Game of the Year awards, I hope Starfield does not like take whatever they got from some Joe Schmo and call it Game of the Year. But they will.
They will, because they'll be a Game of the Year edition.
I believe they won a lot of Steam awards.
They did, which is wild. Who did they fucking pay to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, those are jokesters, review bombers.
Fucking Gabe Newell is like lying in his pockets with Starfield money. What are your final thoughts on Baldur's Gate? Why is it the Game of the Year? Like, why is this the game? What do you hope it takes away? What do you you know what I'm saying?
To synthesize what I just said, it crafts a world, a story, and a video game around your choices as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah.
I hope that we one day live in a world in which that's the norm, where if you're playing a RPG, a role-playing game, whatever you decide to do, be it stupid, logical, good, evil, the game can cater to what you want out of the experience.
Yep. Yeah. I think BioWare is shitting their pants right now with their Dragon Age game being like, oh fuck, how do we make it like this? Yeah. James?
Probably. I bet that we will see a future of kind of like not next gen RPGs. Yeah. Because a lot of people have RPGs in the works that probably do not do this.
I think so too.
Yeah. I hope we don't get copycats, because you cannot touch what this game is doing. At least not well.
Yeah.
I foresee some additional content with this game, and I've been seeing the support when I look back and how many patches they've applied and how much work they've been doing to, like, even though this game was already good, I've heard that there was like some polish that was needed for the third act. Yeah. Which I think has been addressed.
Yeah, it wasn't released that way, but then like a month later it was kind of fixed.
Yeah. And this game was it was an early access type game
for a long
before.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, and like no one like and like no one just like gave it a second thought. They're just like, oh, it's Baldur's Gate. And then once it finally released, people were like, holy shit, there's
Well, Baldur's Gate had like a weird audience of like really hardcore,
right?
You know, like fans of the first two, and then like they were the beta testers, and then like
not even that. Just other games. Yeah. Divinity: Original Sin has a hardcore following of like that computerized tabletop RPG.
Well, and I think what this game benefits so much about too is having that license of Dungeons and Dragons, where like it kind of has this world established a little bit that I feel like helps them create a story in it, rather than having to like build all these gods and deities and stuff. Like they're able to just kind of slide into this world and kind of make it what it is, which I think really helps. Yeah.
That to me is the worrying part, is that they have that license, and I feel like the second they go back for more, Wizards of the Coast is going to be like, hey, pay up.
That's possible, but then they go, okay, well, Divinity: Original Sin, boom.
Well, we'll just use our own characters.
See ya. Our shit.
Bye.
They have their own properties locked and loaded. They probably have a lot of bargaining power when they come to the table. Like, we can just make this game any fucking fantasy game.
We can make our game without you, and it's just our
we're doing you a favor by calling it Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, fuck off.
It's a fighter, not a warrior.
Yeah. All right, so that's our game of the year, right? That's Baldur's Gate joins our game of the year.
I would say
2 out of 3 game of the year.
I'm giving it to it. I knew this was coming. It was there the whole time. So that means okay, so we had Jedi Fallen Order in 2019. 2020 was Last of Us Part 2. 2021 was Inscryption. 2022 was Elden Ring, and now 2023 is Baldur's Gate 3. I love it. What will 2024 be, James? Who's to say? I think it's Final Fantasy 7.
I want to say Final Fantasy 7s, but we'll see.
It is. I believe it.
I believe too.
Any final thoughts on the year of gaming in 2023?
Warcraft Rumble is going to have a patch, and it's going to make it Game of the Year 2024. Warcraft Rumble 2.0.
Thank you so much for watching the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 155. I'm Jake Burke. That's James St. Charles. That's Ted Libby. That was our Game of the Year 2024, and we will see you next week.
Next year?
Well, no. This came out in January 10th.
Fuck. We can't go back and pass.
Right. Jesus Christ. He's already time traveling.
We're not Starfield.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, we're not Starfield. We're not Starfield. Imagine making your coolest mechanic, but saving it for the very end of your 45-hour experience. What a just ballsy game design choice.
Just cut it.
Just cut it.